Uber's just done something no other Fortune 500 company has had the guts to publicly admit. They've set a hard monthly cap on AI tool spending. $1,500. That's it, full stop. And here's what makes this genuinely shocking. Uber isn't saying this because they don't believe in AI. They're saying it because they absolutely do, and they've learned exactly how much value AI tools actually return for the money. This isn't skepticism speaking. It's mathematics. In a world where AI startups charge thousands of dollars monthly for features that might save you an hour of work, Uber's $1,500 ceiling is becoming the most important benchmark in the entire AI tools industry. Think of it like this. Imagine you go to a restaurant and the chef tells you, "We've tested every ingredient, every technique, and we found that the best meals cost us exactly this much to make. Anything more expensive than that. And you're paying for theater, not flavor." That's Uber. They've done the math. They've run the tests, and they've drawn a line in the sand. The story that broke this week isn't just about one company's budget. It's about the moment when AI stops being magic and starts being math. Every vendor from Microsoft down to tiny startups just got an answer to a question they've been terrified to ask. Are you actually worth what you're charging? To understand why Uber just slammed the brakes, you need to rewind to about 18 months ago. That's when enterprise AI adoption went from interesting experiment to "we're throwing everything at this." Companies were intoxicated. ChatGPT launched. Claude came out. Within months, every Fortune 500 was scrambling to sign up for every AI tool that promised to make their workflows faster, smarter, cheaper. Copilots for developers, copilots for marketing, AI for customer service, AI for legal, AI for accounting. It was like a software boom, except it was all the same technology sold 100 different ways, and nobody was keeping score. That's the key part. Nobody was actually measuring whether these tools were paying for themselves. You'd pay the monthly subscription, spin it up in a department, and then silence, no metrics, no ROI tracking. Just the assumption that it had to be valuable because everyone else was doing it. It's human nature. When something is new and everyone's adopting it, you assume the math works. You assume someone smarter than you has done the calculation. They haven't. Uber realized they are different. They actually have the data engineering muscle to track this stuff. So they did. They built the model. They measured the return. And 18 months of their own data said one thing. Past $1,500 a month per team, the tools aren't generating enough value to justify the expense. So what does $1,500 tell us? First, let's be clear about what it isn't. It's not Uber saying AI is worthless. It's not them pulling back on AI. They're keeping all the tools that pass the test. 1,500 is their signal of what they've determined, through actual measurement, to be the boundary between valuable and wasteful spending. Think about that from a market perspective. A typical enterprise software tool runs between $300 and $5,000 monthly depending on the team size and feature set. Uber's saying, if you cost more than half of that ceiling, you better be generating measurable return. Otherwise, you're a subscription tax. Here's where it gets interesting for the wider industry and potentially dangerous for a lot of vendors. If Uber has data showing that premium-priced tools don't generate proportional value, do you know who else has similar data? Google does, Microsoft does, Amazon does. Every company with serious data infrastructure now has the ability to measure this. And once one company goes public with a number like 1,500, every other CFO in tech is quietly running the same analysis. Suddenly, your pricing model isn't just about features anymore. It's about being able to prove mathematically that you're worth what you're charging. That's a different game entirely. Most AI vendors haven't optimized for that. They've optimized for early adoption and market buzz. Let's ground this in real examples, because Uber isn't alone here. They're just the first to say it out loud. Take a mid-market tech company. Let's say they've got 30 engineers. They signed up for 3 different code completion tools last year because everyone was recommending them. GitHub Copilot for developers, that's about $30 per person per month. A specialized AI linting tool, another $120 per month for the team. Some kind of AI documentation generator, $200 monthly. Before they know it, they're running 15 tools because each one solves a slightly different problem and each one seemed essential 6 months ago. Now they're running against data and discovering that maybe 5 of those tools are actually moving the needle. The other 10, they are nice to have. but nice to have at enterprise pricing adds up fast. Here's another example: customer support teams. AI chatbots sounded revolutionary. Companies signed up for specialized support AI platforms at $2,000, $3,000, sometimes $5,000 monthly. Then they actually measured first response resolution rates and customer satisfaction. Some of the free or cheap open source options performed better because they could be fine-tuned to their specific domain. The expensive vendor tool was solving a generic problem expensively. That's the pattern Uber's found. And that's what other companies are quietly discovering in their own audits. Now here's where Uber's approach becomes interesting in context of how other companies are playing this. Google and Microsoft have basically gone the opposite direction. They are building AI directly into their products and trying to lock in users through their existing platforms. Google wants you using Gemini inside Gmail and Docs. Microsoft wants you on Copilot inside Office. They're not worried about the price point because they're using AI as a moat to lock down their existing customer bases. Amazon's doing something similar with AWS, embedding AI deeply into their service layers, but Uber's taking a different angle. They're not trying to own the AI layer. They're being ruthlessly pragmatic about vendor selection. And that's actually a bigger market signal than what the tech giants are doing, because Uber's approach is reproducible at any scale. A mid-market company can't force everyone onto their proprietary platform, but they can absolutely do what Uber's done: run the numbers, set a price ceiling, and ruthlessly cut anything that doesn't justify itself. Google and Microsoft are betting on ecosystem lock-in. Uber's betting on something simpler: data-driven ROI. And that's spreading. When a company the size of Uber demonstrates that you can run a modern operation by being selective about AI tools rather than adopting everything, it gives permission to everyone else to do the same. That's the real threat to high-priced vendors. Here's what happens next, and it's going to reshape the entire AI software landscape. We've been in a gold rush mentality for about 2 years. Someone built an AI wrapper around an existing problem and immediately charged premium pricing because, hey, it's AI. Hundreds of startups did this. They raised venture capital. They hired aggressively. They assumed the gravy train would never stop. Uber's $1,500 cap just rang the bell that says the free-for-all is over. Companies are going to start doing what Uber did, measuring actual return. And here's the brutal part: a lot of tools that seemed essential in the hype phase are going to fail the measurement test. That doesn't mean they are not useful. It means they're not worth their premium price. Suddenly, you've got a sorting mechanism in the market. Tools that deliver obvious, measurable value at reasonable price points survive. Tools that deliver marginal value at high price points get cut. Expensive vendors are going to face two choices: reduce pricing dramatically and accept lower margins, or pivot to a different model. Some are going to pivot to something like outcome-based pricing. You only pay us if you hit certain metrics. That's actually smart, because it forces the vendor to care about whether you're actually seeing return. But it also means the days of subscription SaaS at any price with loose measurement are numbered. What this creates over the next couple of years is genuine commoditization of AI tools. The winners won't be the ones charging the most. They'll be the ones who deliver measurable return at reasonable price points. So if you're running a team and you're trying to think through which AI tools actually deserve a spot in your budget, here's the framework. First, define what success looks like. Not the tool is cool, that's not success. Success is measurable. It's either time saved per person per week, or error reduction, or revenue impact, or some other concrete metric. Second, run a trial period. Most serious vendors will do a month or 3 for free. During that trial, actually measure the baseline. How long does this task take without the tool? What's the error rate? What's the quality? Then measure with the tool and compare. Third, do the math. If the tool saves you 5 hours per week per person and your loaded hourly cost for that person is $100, that's $500 of value weekly. If the tool costs $20 a person per month, you're getting massive return. If it costs $2,000 per month for the same 5 hours, you don't have a business case. The benchmark Uber's established, $1,500, is useful because it gives you a reference point. It doesn't mean don't spend above that number. It means if you're above that number, the tool better be passing a rigorous ROI test. And most importantly, measure this continuously. Don't install it and assume it's still working. Revisit the data quarterly. Is the team still using it? Did the return change? Are there cheaper alternatives now? The companies that win this phase are the ones willing to be ruthless about cutting tools that aren't pulling their weight. Here's what's actually happening and why Uber's $1,500 ceiling is so important. We are at an inflection point where AI is moving from being a speculative technology that you invest in because everyone else is, to being a utility that you adopt because it measurably works. Magic gives way to math. That's the actual story. 2 years ago, companies bought AI tools like they were buying lottery tickets, hope and hype. Now they're buying them like they are buying electricity. You measure the usage, you check the bill, and if it's too high for the value you're getting, you find something cheaper or you turn it off. That's a fundamental change in how the market works. It's actually healthier. It means AI tool companies will have to earn their customers through genuine value delivery rather than just riding a wave of momentum. Some vendors are going to struggle with that transition. Some are going to thrive. The ones who thrive are the ones who genuinely solve expensive problems. What to watch for going forward? Pay attention to which AI tools Uber keeps versus which ones they cut. That's becoming the most honest signal in the market about what actually works. And watch the pricing market. Within 6 months, you're going to see vendors start competing on ROI proof rather than just feature lists. That's the next phase. The companies that survive the commoditization will be the ones that were confident enough in their value proposition to prove it.